Today's top 5 geopolitical events you can't miss. Welcome back. In the next few minutes, we'll dive into the most critical geopolitical events happening right now. Stay tuned for some surprising twists you won't see coming. First up, Ukraine's bold counteroffensive. What's driving this sudden surge? On September 24, 2024, Ukrainian forces launched a significant counteroffensive in the eastern regions, targeting key strategic positions held by Russian-backed separatists. This move follows months of stalemate and is seen as a critical attempt to regain control over contested areas. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that the war is closer to an end than many believe, urging allies to further strengthen the Ukrainian army. The international community, including NATO and the European Union, has expressed concern over the potential for increased violence and civilian casualties. Analysts suggest that this escalation could lead to a broader confrontation, drawing in neighboring countries and further destabilizing the region. Imagine a chess game where one unexpected move changes everything. That's Ukraine today, making strategic plays to reclaim their territory. Could this be the turning point in the conflict? Stay with us to find out how this could reshape the entire region. Next, Israel's airstrikes on southern Lebanon. What triggered this intense response? In a significant escalation, Israel conducted airstrikes on southern Lebanon in response to rocket attacks by Hezbollah. The strikes targeted Hezbollah's military infrastructure, aiming to cripple their operational capabilities. This exchange of fire has raised fears of a full-scale conflict between Israel and Hezbollah, with potential spillover effects in the broader Middle East. The United Nations has called for immediate de-escalation and dialogue to prevent further violence. Regional powers, including Iran and Saudi Arabia, are closely monitoring the situation, given their vested interests in Lebanon. Think of it as a high-stakes poker game, where every move is a gamble with enormous consequences. Will this escalate into a full-scale war? We'll reveal the hidden players influencing this conflict. Now on to the heated U.S. presidential elections. Who's leading the race? The U.S. presidential elections are heating up as candidates ramp up their campaigns. Key issues dominating the discourse include healthcare, immigration, and foreign policy. The incumbent president faces stiff competition from both within their party and from the opposition. Recent polls indicate a tight race, with no clear frontrunner emerging yet. The candidates' debates have been particularly contentious, reflecting deep divisions within the American electorate. Observers are keenly watching how these dynamics will play out in the coming weeks, especially with the increasing influence of social media on voter opinions. It's like a marathon where every candidate is sprinting to the finish line, but who will cross first? Can the underdog pull off an upset? Discover the unexpected factors swaying voter opinions? Fourth, the EU's new sanctions. Who's being targeted and why? The European Union has announced new sanctions targeting individuals and entities involved in human rights abuses and corruption. These sanctions are part of the EU's broader strategy to promote global human rights and uphold international law. The latest round of sanctions includes travel bans and asset freezes, aimed at pressuring governments to implement reforms. Critics argue that while sanctions are a powerful tool, they often have limited impact on changing state behavior. Nonetheless, the EU remains committed to using sanctions as a means to hold violators accountable. Picture a courtroom drama where the EU is the judge, jury, and executioner. Will these sanctions bring about real change? We'll uncover the ripple effects these sanctions could have globally. Finally, the renewed Middle East peace talks. Can they succeed this time? Efforts to revive peace talks in the Middle East have gained momentum, with key stakeholders meeting in Geneva. The talks aim to address long-standing issues, including territorial disputes, refugee rights, and security arrangements. The involvement of major powers such as the United States, Russia, and the European Union underscores the importance of these negotiations. While there is cautious optimism, past failures have tempered expectations. The success of these talks will largely depend on the willingness of parties to compromise and make meaningful concessions. It's like a delicate dance, where one misstep could end the music. Are we closer to peace or another setback? Stay tuned to hear the surprising concessions made by key players. These are today's top geopolitical events. Which story surprised you the most? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.